Hello everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host as always, John Mafia. Today's featured movie is Gotti, directed by one of the Entourage crew members, better known as the actor Kevin Connolly, and the story is about the history of John Gotti, who was one of the most infamous mob bosses slash real life godfathers in New York. And that's really it. This is a movie I only went to watch because I heard such weird things about it. It was always in my mind, but then I heard really interesting conversations about it, and I felt like I had to see it for myself, and I went in with an open mind like I always do, and people are right, this movie is absurdly stupid. It was so ridiculous in its execution of storytelling, in trying to be like an all-time classic movie like a Bronx Tale or a Goodfellas, or any real great Martin Scorsese movie. It tried so hard, but it failed and flopped. I will give it this though, the movie does have its replay value for its atrocities and just how dumb the movie can get. The entire tone of Gotti is set with John Travolta playing John Gotti with a scenic nightly view of the bridge behind New York City, and he says, "Let me tell you something. New York City is the greatest fucking city in the world," or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But he's basically narrating to some unknown audience, I'm guessing it's us, about how damn glorious and amazing his life was. From what I gather, the information watching this movie, the entire film is John Travolta as Gotti narrating his life story while he's in his 40s to an unknown audience, assuming just the void, or I'm guessing us. But he's literally talking about things that didn't happen yet at that time period, things that happened after he died that involved his son and like the backlash and the controversy of what happened with him along the way with his life too, next to his father. In this context, it makes absolutely no sense that what's happening is happening right now. And the movie's trying so hard to be like Goodfellas, where it's like, we're gonna narrate the story. And like all those great mobster movies where we have a narration. And we're gonna have, we gotta have that classic scene where it's Christmas and bad things are happening. Or it's Christmas and we got mobsters hanging out and people are saying the F word every 5 seconds. Just because. F this, F that, effing, mother effing. We're gonna have actors overplay the Italian accent and role with the mob and the gestures and the open it, boom, mamma mia, bola, get the meat, I'm gonna eat, boy, I'm gonna eat, yo, Mr. Manina, Manoi, I could have weed with the eye. Like, the movie's actually amazing for how hard it tries to be that kind of movie that you've grown up and seen before and loved, like a Goodfellas, but it just absolutely fails. And it's hilarious. Although, my theater experience was great because I could tell some people around me in my Staten Island theater, a lot of people were probably biased, were rooting for John Gotti the entire time because apparently he was a great community leader. He was loved by his peers and by folks in the tri-state area. Even though you never get that impression from the movie, the entire movie is about him assumingly protecting his family and loving his family. There's one scene I can recall where John Gotti bumps into a neighbor, like a young neighbor, and asks how his father's doing because he's sickly. This movie otherwise never calls focus to how he was beloved by people around him. We're trying to glorify this man. He was the greatest of the greats. He did nothing bad. He was never vulnerable. He stuck his ground, and he protected his family. He was amazing. He was one of the best human beings in the world. No! Absolutely no way would I believe that based on the context of what I was given from this particular movie. And this film is also insanely macho in how it portrays its male characters, but you never get like another side of them. It's just, yeah, they were great, and that's it. And for a 10-year-old who's watching movies probably like, wow, this is fantastic, but for a human being with logic, it makes no goddamn sense. Overall, I gave Gotti a fair shot. There was potential here for a decently fun mobster movie, but it tries way too hard to be an all-time great, and it's got a fun performance by John Travolta. Kelly Preston does an okay job. Everybody else is there to do what they have to do, but the actual movie itself, unfortunately, fails hilariously. And for that, again, I will say it has replay value because the dialogue is delivered so horribly. The story, the execution of the narrative is one of the most tripped out things I've seen this year, with a guy who posthumously talked about what's happening after he dies in the last half of the movie, where it actually, I wanted to laugh out loud, but I respected people around me and I didn't. But there were a lot of times where I was internally screaming. But yeah, my opinion of Gotti is that it sucks. It's the first movie this year that I've seen that I truly believe is a bad movie. For anybody out there who thinks it's a good movie, instead of like being like a Star Wars toxic fanboy and shitting on your life, I want to ask you right now, why? Why do you think Gotti is a good movie? I honestly want to know how you could twist this and justify this into being a good movie. Maybe you'll prove me wrong. But in my opinion, John Gotti is an abomination. It's a 1 out of 5 stars. Mamma mia, pizza baller in the bean on the bean, that's amore. Mwah! But now I want to know from all you boys and girls what you think of Gotti. Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed my review in this video, please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my social medias, my Stardust, and my IGTV on my Instagram too, where I actually did a couple really ridiculous things for this movie too. And that's it. I'm John Mafio, aka MaffmanJones. Have a great rest of your day. If you see Gotti, don't pay for it. Wait for it on cable or see it with friends, because that's the only way I can justify you seeing a movie like this. I'll see you next time. Deuces.